What's up everybody, FSC Trucking. Today's video we're going to continue working on Orwell. Now that I've got all the new parts, despite all the drama with getting the parts, I've got hopefully everything that we need to put Orwell back together. Sitting right there on the floor, including, yeah, a big crate. A big expensive crate. More expensive than it should have been. I don't mean only from Caterpillar. Let's get into it. In the previous video, we started taking Orwell's engine apart. We started with a water leak coming from the feed line in the front of the engine that goes to the water-cooled aftercooler that feeds the engine, that cools the charge air from the turbo before it gets shoved into the engine. Started with a leak in the front feed line, took it apart, and then I said, you know what, while I have the water drain, let me go ahead and take care of a boost leak, because it was developing a boost leak, and it creates a little performance issue. So we took that apart, and upon removing the core from the aftercooler, we found the core was shot and leaking water into #1 cylinder, which could create a major problem because we do have the green APU here. With the green APU running while the big engine is off, it maintains the water's temperature, keeping the engine warm, but also keeps it pressurized, which was dumping water into #1 cylinder, which could have created a catastrophic failure if we got really unlucky and it hydro-locked. Now, if it hydro-locks against the starter, it's not a big deal. But if it starts to fire on any of the other cylinders, 2 through 6, and #1 hydro-locks, could bend a rod, break a crank, could create major trouble. Also, in editing video today, I did notice a little, now granted, the engine was cold when I was leaving Albuquerque. I wasn't feeling very well that particular day, but when I left Albuquerque, I fired up the engine after shutting off the green APU and let it run for a bit, and I noticed some white smoke. Now, is that diesel smoke from it being, not 100% up to operating temperature? Bear in mind, the engine is up to operating temperature, but the fuel is not. So, which is it? Don't know. We're gonna find out. After that run, that's when I decided to take this apart. So here we are. So to do a quick review, this housing right here is the aftercooler. The core sits down inside like so. I don't know if the lighting is good, but you can see the water stain in the bottom going into #1 cylinder. Obviously #1 through 6 back here. So the aftercooler, the air goes from the turbo straight through this radiator looking thing and then into the head. See, that's 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 behind the air compressor. Here's the aftercooler core itself. And that's where she's been leaking. It's all sticky and yucky, and that's where the water was coming out, and obviously this gets warm and then making that mess right there. So the problem I ran into was, what do I get? I thought it was going to be a simple fix, so I'm like, okay, let me just get ahead and get the gaskets for it, which I already ordered and had done. When I found out the core was shot, I called Caterpillar, and the original price I was told on a core based on a random serial number was like $3,500. So I'm like, okay, no, the one I need is specific to this engine, wound up being $4,400 all in. I looked online, I found a company that sold aftermarket ones that were made out of aluminum. I'm like, okay, how much for that? $912. Now this was Wednesday that I ordered this, right? Here's where it gets dicey, and we're gonna get into this with this company in the future because I am pissed. So Wednesday I ordered the thing, but I didn't order it early enough to make overnight shipping to have it arrive here today. So I called them up and I said, hey, do you actually have this part in stock? They said, yes, we don't have it. We get it from our vendor at an unknown, they wouldn't say, part of our country here in the United States. But the company I bought it from is based out of Michigan, so they're on Eastern time, I'm in Central time. So I said, okay, you have it in stock? They said, yes. But if you pay overnight shipping, it'll ship Thursday, it'll be there Friday. Okay, good enough. So Thursday I called in dispatch. Couldn't make any phone calls because nobody's cell phone was working for whatever reason. Solar flare, cyber attack, AT&T's incompetence, God only knows, but that's what happened. So I was able to use a landline to call dispatch and say, hey, this is what's going on. I said, okay, you could load your load that I'm picking up to take to Portland, Maine, a wide load, a de-icer. I could pick that up on Friday, use a company truck to do it, and when Orwell's done, I could put them back together and get down the line. Now, this is Thursday. Picking up Friday, has to deliver by end of the month, which is Thursday, any day, any time of the day, but it's got to be done on Thursday. My troubles continue, so Friday I was told when I ordered the piece on, now bear in mind, this is on Wednesday. When I ordered it, they told me as soon as it ships from the warehouse, wherever it is, they will go ahead and email me a tracking number. I got this receipt for it. No tracking number, but that was from me ordering it. Notice how I paid the part, that's the right part number. I paid the price, plus I paid overnight shipping. Understanding it would be shipped Thursday, deliver Friday. Thursday came, I never got an email that said it was shipped. So Friday I called and said, hey, where's the part? Is it on its way? I never got a confirmation number for it. Now, admittingly, prior to this, they told me they only sold 4 of these things in the past, say, 2-3 years. And I'm sitting there thinking, it's not in stock. Like, they have to make it just for the people that buy it. But you'd think they make more than once, but she said specifically it is in stock and will ship Thursday. Okay? Friday come around, no email, no tracking number, no nothing. So I'm like, okay. I called down there. 2 hours to close. I'm in the company truck. I got my freight. Orwell's freight, and I'm on my way to the yard. 2 hours later, 4:30 comes rolling around, their phone lines go off, Peyton gives me her direct line. At that point, because Peyton supposedly got yelled at for calling the warehouse to find out what happened with my part. Friday come rolling around, 4:30 to 5, I call Peyton's direct line, closing on 5 o'clock, she don't answer. 5 o'clock, phone system's off, like goes right to voicemail. I'm like, okay, now what? Well, that's 4 o'clock Wisconsin time, 5 o'clock out in Michigan. That gives me 1 hour. Caterpillar was open for another hour. I then called Caterpillar and I said, hey, do you guys have that core that I ordered that did not buy when I bought the rest of the gaskets and so on? They're like, yeah, it's still here. Do you want it? I said, yes. I'll be up there in a little bit. So 20 minutes to spare, I go and pick up my core from Caterpillar for another $4,400. That's right, I paid this company $1,200 some to deliver me a part, $900 to get it, and then another $200 and some for shipping for a part that Friday come rolling around, Saturday come rolling around, today's Saturday, and I still haven't seen it. So it shipped Thursday, no tracking number on Thursday, no tracking number on Friday, never arrived. I got news for you. At the time of making this video, I don't think they ever possessed the part, and I don't think they ever shipped the part because they never gave me a tracking number and they never gave me confirmation beyond just word of mouth that it had shipped. If it had shipped without me getting a tracking number or email getting lost, it should have arrived by now. Next day was Friday. Today's Saturday and it still ain't here. They took my money and ran. So we're going to get into that with this company. Caterpillar, however, had the part for a ridiculously overpriced price. However, in Caterpillar's defense, how many of these do they actually sell? Maybe on the other hand, instead of complaining about the price, just be grateful that I'm even getting a part. However, it does seem a bit excessive. Now, when I go to Matt's, I am planning on doing interviews with OEMs, Peterbilt, Kenworth, all of them basically, and then getting into the engine manufacturers or other manufacturers, well, any OEM that's there, and start talking to them on YouTube and be like, hey, I get it, you guys want to sell brand new stuff. What about the fact that there's a huge segment in the trucking industry that refuses to go with new equipment because of the extreme cost and the horrible uptime involving newer equipment, plus the government overregulation of newer equipment? I'll give you what to me is a classic example, okay? The truck that I picked up has a Cummins in it. The oil pan is literally made of some kind of composite plastic. Composite plastic works really good and it's lightweight for a while. But literally, if you go back to 1998 Oldsmobile with that 3800 engine in there, the 3.8, that intake manifold, the lower part is aluminum, but the upper plenum is plastic, and it runs the EGR through that plastic, which is water cooled. That thing can only go through that piece can only go through so many heat cycles before it gets brittle and cracks. And what happens with that engine is when it gets brittle and cracked, the coolant that's cooling the EGR, you know, the part, exhaust gas recirculation, the part of the car that makes it eat its own crap or drink its own piss, it breaks, dumping coolant directly into your intake and hydrolocks a cylinder. That's what killed my Oldsmobile. That car should have been running a lot longer than that, except that stupid plastic intake plenum where they're running heat through it broke. Now, yes, it had a lot of miles. Yes, it had a lot of years. But this is the same age as that, and that didn't happen. So what's going on with these plastic parts? Yes, I get it, trying to make the truck lighter, but you're losing the long-term durability of these things. That Cummins has the same type of oil pan underneath it, and therefore I got to question Cummins, what's the heat life cycle, you think? How many times are you going to cycle this up and down before it finally gives out? The oil pan in Orwell is aluminum. It's sturdy as hell. But the plastic oil pans, I guarantee you in 20 years it's going to break. And when an oil pan breaks and dumps all your oil on the ground, how are you going to run then? I do plan on talking to the OEMs about this kind of thing, and hopefully I can maybe get some more awareness to the fact that Caterpillar, Cummins, Detroit, Peterbilt, can't name them all. They stand to make some money off guys like us because we keep their brands alive with the old classics. So maybe they ought to try to support us a little bit better when it comes to the parts and not bend me over for $4,400 for a core that should only be a couple thousand at most. But I digress. That's where we're at. Yikes. Alrighty, boys and girls, we have us a tale of two parts. We have the part that I ordered on Wednesday. Now, admittingly, Thursday was the shipping day because I ordered it late on Wednesday, but I paid for overnight shipping. So Thursday, Friday came and went, Saturday came and went, and that was a problem. I was working on the truck all weekend. I honestly thought I would get to install the aftercooler, and I had no tracking number, so I had no idea when this box was gonna arrive. And look at the picture. This is how it showed up at the crib. So with no tracking number on Friday, I decided to buy the quadruple as expensive Caterpillar part. So this we're gonna unbox. That's my Aftermarket Aftercooler. And this is the genuine Caterpillar Aftercooler. You tell me. What's the likelihood that this thing is even serviceable? Now, some of you are asking, why would I go aftermarket not with genuine Caterpillar? One, the answer is $4,400, $1,200, including $200 some for shipping. Yeah. Look at how the tape isn't even centered on the box. I mean, it's, anyway, CTP Quality Products. So the company I bought it is based out of Michigan. This guy shipped out of Texas. So there it is in a nutshell. So yeah, now when I did my first transmission job, I put a Caterpillar flywheel in it, and sometime later the ring gear broke. Isolated incident, maybe. Inferior Caterpillar parts for things that aren't commonly purchased, possible too. Don't forget, there's the aftercooler feed line elbow that cracked. The original one was bad. I replaced it with a new one. That one went bad. Yet the gasket, I think that this time it's the O-ring, so not really sure. Sometimes Caterpillar parts aren't as best as they were when they were brand new. Either way, let's dive in and see what we have with this Fugazi box. Gotta cut no tape. Have a crate. They put the name on this? It's like balsa wood. Oh, it's plywood. It's pine plywood. Here's your part number, 1W4879, Core Aftercooler. Oh, to protect it in the crate, corrugated cardboard powder, or not powder, corrugated cardboard packing. Where do you get powder from? Another corrugated cardboard packing piece. I'm gonna cut it unedited so you see how this box, how I literally found the aftercooler. And there it is. Sitting, well, at least it's still on its wooden part of the crate. It is oily. All right, notch for the Orient side. This aftercooler might have gotten lucky. Of course, this thing is not even close to what the picture shows. Picture shows it made out of aluminum, not this oily steel. So there it is. It at least appears, I don't see any damage on it, to it. That's how they send me it. Wow, ain't that something? That out the way. Alrighty, now we have the Caterpillar crate. Top comes off. Blue bag. To be honest with you, boys and girls, for $4,400, that is an expensive crate. However, the packing is so much nicer. I can't speak on the longevity of this unit, but I will tell you that the packaging certainly is top-notch, to say the least. I certainly hope that this unit will function as good as the one that was in there, obviously without leaking. So that's the difference in the boxes. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do But I am going to install the Caterpillar one, if only for the fact that this has a 1-year warranty on it. And that one, honestly, I don't know. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to keep both. I'm going to send that to be pressure tested to make verified that it does actually function right. Although I might be able to pressure test it here. It's probably not that big a deal. And then repackage it in the Caterpillar crate. Either way, I got screwed, but I still plan on keeping the product provided it passes pressure test. But I don't know, is there a quality difference? You tell me. Everybody says I ought to just put an air-to-air in this truck and call it a day. But in the time frame needed, I lose more money by having the truck down by retrofitting an air-to-air into the truck. You know, you're still retrofitting an air-to-air into an old truck. So I don't think it's worth it, to be honest. This functioned fine in '84. It'll function fine now too. I mean, what, air is different, diesel fuel is different. What's a little different with the lack of lubricity in the oil in the fuel, but it doesn't have anything to do with the cooling. Listen, the truck will cool same as it did in '84. It'll work fine now without a boost leak. In fact, too, even better. We're gonna stick with this unit. That one over there, I don't know. I'll figure it out. Ultimately, I called the company I bought it from and I said, okay, hey, what am I going to do with this thing? Okay, because I paid for next day shipping. I ordered it Wednesday, shipped on Thursday supposedly, didn't arrive Friday, didn't arrive Saturday. It arrived Monday afternoon in that fugly box that you saw. And I said, hey, look, what am I going to do with this thing? I already installed the other one in the truck. What am I going to do with this thing? You know, it's really not serviceable. I don't trust it. It needs to be pressure tested, on and on and on. How do I handle this? After I got done explaining it to them, they says, well, we'll just give you back your money for the shipping. I'm like, well, who's going to pay to pressure test this thing? And they're like, on and on and on. And I really didn't want to make this video, to be honest. I did it to cover my tail, but in the grand scheme of things, really don't want to do a video of a burial of a company. But in the end, I feel like if I don't, one of you guys, my subscribers, might order parts from these people and find out that if you're in a pinch, they're probably going to fail you. And if you order parts from them, it's not going to arrive, serviceable. So I pulled the douchebag move, I will admit. And I said, hey, are you at the computer? And I was speaking to the supervisor, Jill, not Peyton. Peyton was a nice lady. She's just selling the product. Okay, fine. But I spoke to Jill. And when I spoke to Jill, I said, hey, you got the internet in front of you, right? She goes, yeah. I'm like, do yourself a favor. Look up FSC Truck and let me know what you get. She goes, yeah, I found a trucking company and a YouTube channel. I go, hi, that's me. As soon as that came up, it's like, oh, we'll just give you all your money back once we get the product back. If you'll ship it back to us, we will go ahead and refund all your money. We were going to, she explained that they're going to, and I had her send this email, that upon completion of this phone call, they were going to refund me my money for the shipping. Then once they received the part, they were going to refund my money for the part. In fact, they were going to pay for the shipping. They emailed me a UPS shipping label. I even said to them, add some weight to the shipping label because we're going to ship it back to them in the Caterpillar crate, not the one that they sent, as their crate was completely destroyed and became shrapnel, which would have put holes or created a serviceability problem with their part. So I'm like, you know what? I'll just do it that way. Fine. You get the part, give me back my money, no problem. So I shipped it out. The day I shipped it out on a Friday. Might have been a Thursday, not sure. I wasn't sure when they were going to get it. So Monday came and went, never hear anything. Tuesday came and went. Thursday came and went. I got busy with stuff. Friday I called. Says, hey, you guys get this part? I never got my money back. She looked, yeah, we got your part back. We got it back on Monday. This was Friday. They never even tried to give me back my money. I guess they were hoping I would forget. So I decided, you know what? At that point, F you. She goes, we're gonna do the refund right now. I'm like, well, you should have. So anyway, they received the part in Michigan. The warehouse, again, no communication with that warehouse apparently. Supposedly, the warehouse was giving them a little hymns, hands, and butts about the refund. And I'm like, no, just give me back my money. You got the part on Monday. This is Friday. You're 5 days late. Give me my damn money. So the money came and went, and I decided, you know what? I did finally get my money like 3-4 days later. I know they said it's going to be the financial institution plus over the weekend, blah, blah, blah. But again, I was out my money for another week. So, you know what? They shipped me the part late. It wasn't even a part like described in the picture. It wasn't even made out of aluminum. It was made out of steel. Whether it makes a difference, I don't know. But they definitely misrepresented the part. They shipped it overnight. They took the money. It didn't even arrive overnight. And then the packaging was completely destroyed. I don't even know if their product was even serviceable once it arrived. That's not going to do. And then the cherry on top of the cake, when they did get the part back, they didn't send my money back to me until I started calling and bitching. So that's why we made this video. That's basically how it concludes. So I didn't really want to make the video. I was hemming and hawing about it. But then I said, you know what? When you pull every step of the way from purchasing, the shipping, sending it back, and getting my refund, every bit of it was screwed up. Nah, this video had to be made. I personally would avoid these people at all costs if I was you. That's just my personal humble opinion. Again, they did do what they said. You just had to push and prod to get it done. And if you're looking for serviceable truck parts, I go somewhere else, I guess. All right, that's about it. Sorry to be negative. Tomorrow we're going to get into the whole overhead and then setting the overhead, possibly later on installing the aftercooler, and eventually we're going to start getting into the boat hauls with Gentry. So with that, that's the end of the video. Have a nice night. Thank you.